Well, this team certainly does have a lot of potential, but with Jay Cutler at the helm, is this a playoff caliber team?
I think so. I think these guys are in the midst of a playoff race, and I think these two, for the past 2 days, including twice so far today, have given Jay Cutler an entirely too rough a road in coming out of retirement to play for the Dolphins. No one's going to sit here, most certainly me, and argue that Jay Cutler is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But he sure isn't one of the worst, as Stephen A. would point out. Max, this will be an easy debate.
He's the worst based on his heart and his leadership,
this will be an easy debate.
On his talent.
It'll be an easy debate to win when these two run to hyperbole. The Dolphins were a 10-6 record last year. I believe they'll be in a playoff hunt with the Tennessee Titans, Cincinnati Bengals, and I think the Chargers are going to be a lot better this year. I'm talking about the last playoff spot in the AFC. A 10-6 team with weapons, Jarvis Landry, Kenny Stills, Jay Ajayi, a good defense. And now Jay Cutler stepping in, Stephen A., to an offense that he already knows. You've pointed out, we all know that. And the fact of the matter is, your argument all morning has been he doesn't care. He's not invested. Jay Cutler couldn't give a rip if he throws a touchdown or an interception. Quite honestly, is simply looking at his facial expressions and running an opinion off of that. When we've had guys like Dominique Foxworth or Jermon Bushrod, who both played with him, said
you make
he's
me
a
sick
good
sometimes.
teammate.
You make me sick sometimes. Please, just be quiet and listen, because let me tell you something. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Number one, it ain't just about Jay Cutler's facial expressions. I got an 11-year track record with this brother. 11 years, 1 playoff appearance, 1-1 in a playoff, pedaling on a bicycle in an NFC championship game instead of backpedaling in the pocket. What the hell are you talking about?
Those I'm talking about coaches and teammates.
That's not hyperbole. That's not hyperbole. I gave you facts. I just gave you facts. That's number one. Number two, I've spoken to several of his teammates who played for him. Have you? Have you talked to them? Have you listened to what they said about his lack of leadership? Number three, visit the teammates in Denver. Visit them in Chicago. Listen to what they have to say. They used to argue with me on behalf of Jay Cutler and called me to apologize or ran in front of me. You got that?
Listen,
I do. I'm telling you right now. Hold on. Zip it. I'm giving you facts. You don't get to speak right now. I gave you your time because you accused it of hyperbole. Why? Because you got a stat sheet. Because you got a stat sheet and you read some stats. You ain't engaging in hyperbole.
Hey, listen.
Is Jay Cutler not? Hold on. Is Jay Cutler not and juxtaposed to Colin Kaepernick? Is Jay Cutler right now not the epitome of white privilege in the United States of America? What did he do to deserve this job? What did he do?
Listen now.
Is he better? Is he better? What did he do?
Could it be possible that these locker rooms, they're just in the realm of possibility, could it possibly be under the sun of this universe that there's people in these locker rooms that disagree with the guys that are talking to you? Could it be possible that Dominique Foxworth or Jermon Bushrod or Adam Gase or Herm Edwards, for that matter, have said,
I'd like to answer that question.
No. I'm not done.
I'd like to answer that question.
I'm not done. I've said this makes football sense and that Jay Cutler is a good teammate. How is it possible that someone could disagree with Stephen A. Smith or the people that talk to Stephen A. Smith?
They disagree with me all the time. They just end up wrong like you. They disagree with me. They disagree with me all the time. They just end up wrong like you. But in the end, to answer your question directly, I'm not saying that there are not players that wouldn't disagree with those players that I spoke to. But I coupled it with the facts I gave you about Jay Cutler. I didn't just sit there and say they said that about him. I gave you an 11-year history. This dude threw for 4,000 yards once. He had a good year 2 years ago with Adam Gase as his quarterback. He hasn't been interested. He's looked apathetic. You got anybody that covers the sport that knows it, but because Will Cain wants to be the ultimate contrarian, engaging in hyperbole while accusing others of doing it, he don't want to embrace the fact that Jay Cutler is not the argument that you want to make right here on First Take. You better find another subject. Jay Cutler ain't the answer.
And Jay Cutler's not the only player on the Miami Dolphins. Does Jay Cutler make them a playoff team, I believe, was the question. And the answer is, in 2015, they were 6-10. They had a point differential minus almost 5. They weren't very good. They weren't terrible, but they were kind of a middle-of-the-packy kind of unlucky team. Last year, they had a point differential of minus 2 points a game. Also kind of middle of the packy. They got lucky. They went 10-6. Like most NFL teams, they're somewhere between 6-10 and 10-6. They're an 8-8 team fundamentally, maybe a little less than that. that gets lucky or unlucky. Does Jay Cutler put them over the top, even if they were to make the playoffs, which they may or may not? As I said, they're a bubble kind of playoff team. They ain't going anywhere in the playoffs. And that's the point. So
well, then you agreed with me. Does he make them a playoff team? The question is, can he support the team that they are? The answer is, he can. 2015, the stats you've referenced several times, you know what those stats look a lot like? They look a lot like Ryan Tannehill last year. And the team you talked about doing 6 and 10 and 15, they had the 31st ranked defense in the NFL. That's not this Dolphins defense. Now, the question is Will Cain being the ultimate contrarian, or is Stephen A. Smith running to hyperbole? One of us is sharing the same opinion as Adam Gase. The other is saying he's the worst quarterback in the NFL. I'll let the audience decide. Am I a contrarian, or are you being hyperbolic?
Let me tell you something right now. This ain't politics, baby. This is sports. I can guarantee you most of the audience is going to agree with me before they agree with you. That's number one. Number two, don't give me hyperbole when it comes to Jay Cutler when I gave you facts. You don't get to ignore the facts that I dropped on you. I gave you, hold on, I gave you facts. Number three, even if the Miami Dolphins make the playoffs, it doesn't mean it's going to be because of him.
This is so fun, but we got to go.
We also take into consideration, chill. The bottom line is this. When you look at Jay Cutler, he might be a byproduct of it. They may be successful in spite of him. It damn sure ain't going to be because of him.
I'd like to judge one thing.
Please.
Stephen A. says he's the worst quarterback in football. Where do you rank him, Will? How would you describe Jay Cutler?
He's probably around, at this point, this year, where he will be, I'll give him around 20th.
Okay, I am closer to agreeing with Stephen A. Stephen A. Smith's position is closer to the truth than yours. You're both off.
And he is a bubble starter.
Stephen A.'s got facts. He's made that clear. He's got
facts.
We got to go. And my ears hurt a little.